大丈夫ですよ。
Just say hello.
あ、おはよう。
人がいるかいないか
いないかわかんないの。
今始まったばっかり。まあメッセージスタートしました。
おー、すごい。おはよう。今日早いよ。
Sugi-san's been off for a few days. She's so lazy. So back in a sec. Hang on. The paper is out. Here it is. The evidence. The paper is out. All right, let's get this up and running. There's a hair in my soup. Waiter, there's a hair in my soup. There it is. So good morning, good morning, good morning. No heating pad. It's 20 something here today. Not 20, but close enough. We're okay. We're okay without a heating pad at all. Bare feet. Spring is here. Yes, yes. He's tied on, so I can't turn around, but yes. Those of you who were here yesterday know what that's all about. What's she doing with the note? New brush?
ニューブラシのちょっと使いやすそうなやつ。使いやすそうな。
何作品は何5月作品
あ、5月作品ちょっと試し今日テストやっちゃおうかなと思って。早くやんないとね。
先のブルーバージョンは無理です。グリーン。
グリーン。
本当にごめんね。
いい。
ジェッツさんのフォトショップ。
ね、今度の6月恋もあれですもんね。ちょっと一回試してもう一回テストしないとですもんね。
絶対
ね、絶対ダメですね。あんなに色分けちょっとだからちょっともう一回やんなきゃいけない。
多分いい作品になるかもしれないですけど、日本通りは絶対一番難しいものが、ぼかし。
ぼかしね。
フォトショップでブルーベースの上にブラックぼかしですね。絶対そうにならない。
確かにね、あれちょっとブラックの前に一回ちょっとなんか暗めの一回入れてからじゃないとあれはきついですね。
ブラックは本当に汚くなります。
汚くなりますね。
だからディープブルーグリーン or something。
確かにそうしないとダメだ。
Say hello, people here.
もうみんな来てる。
Good morning, Sugi-san.
Good morning.
She's been off for a couple of days. そう。今朝ごはん食べたばっかり。
食べたばっかり。木半館で食べた。
だって木半館スリカフェ。 Yes, you know, she had dental surgery. Dental surgery, I mean, whatever, pulling out some giant molars or something. She came in yesterday and her face is like, she was out for 3 days anyway, but her face was like this big. Gambatte. Okay, let's see. I think I'm ready to go almost, actually. So. All right, what's the setup here? We've got the cameras in the right position. Brush is going to be here. The brush is soaking. I can't. This brush is going to go there. Left-hand camera, are we okay? I think we're okay. You can see I have my new beautiful flat board, courtesy Aoyama-san. So, Fridge is running the camera up there. All right, let's just do this. Let's get going. Let's get going. Fridge is wearing the cape, the blue cape that we discovered yesterday. Discovered, what's the right word for it? Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. Once we start, we gotta get going. What there is today, there's 20, we have 40 sheets in the stack. There's 20 sheets of big Takenaga paper, cut in half. And we're going to be getting 4 Heroes prints out of each sheet. And half of these are for the Shadow of the Colossus parody, and half of them are for, I forget. And Metroid, I can't remember. Where? XTC, yes, yes, yes. Which album did you start with? Because there's no single XTC. They changed so much over the years. You might like one of their albums and another one might turn you off. The early stuff is way too punk for me. But they became really, really interesting. Okay, let's roll. Yeah, Generals and Majors is early time, of course. It's a bit more punky. The album that first I got excited about was the one they called Mummer. I don't know how many years ago this is now. It's like 30 or 40 years ago. If I was going to come at them again now, I'd just take it in order. I'd just start with the early stuff and I'd just work my way through the albums one by one because they really, really progressed. They just changed and developed all the way along. You say nonsense, it was none such. That's probably your auto spell has fixed that, I guess, right? If I had to pick one, that might be the one I would pick, perhaps. Might be Skylacking, might be none such, I don't know. Don't get your musical advice from a woodblock printmaker. This is going to be, it's about the perfect temperature now, that 20 degrees. There's no cold feeling. It's just perfect. That can't be right. That's not right. 1983 is not show of 48. Nowhere even close to it. Not even close. Sorry, John, you got it wrong today. 1983 is about show of 60, somewhere around there. Show of 57 or 58, somewhere around there. So you've got a decade wrong. It's not show of 40, it'll be show of 58. Yeah, making plans for Nigel, that's early stuff too. Again, that's not the part of their work that I would really enjoy so much. But if that's all you know, then you certainly don't know that band. You've got to explore the later stuff. Yeah, my bird performs. That's also, it's just such great stuff, you know. It's almost like some kind of wonderful classical music. It's written, it's composed, you know, it's really carefully created. I just wish they'd had better producers. What's the question? I'd love to know what has made him so passionate about wood carving. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not passionate about wood carving. I know people use this word, you know, you're passionate, you're courageous, whatever. I'm just, I don't know the wording to use. I know, just have fun with this, you know. I used to do lots of different things. They were all interesting. They were all okay. But this one is sort of, it's a mix of things. It's deep enough. No matter how good you get at this, there's always more to discover. And the problem is that I want to be really, really good at it, but even though I get to the point where I seem to be really, really good at it, there's always the legacy of the historical things which are so much better than I can do. So you've got that double pleasure of working at something and getting better and looking behind you and saying, wow, look at the neat stuff I've made. That pleasure is there. And there's also the pleasure of looking at the stuff that was done years ago that is so much better than I can do. So there's still always a challenge. So it's a perfect situation of having whatever, I can't say 50-50, but whatever, some percent of satisfied production and some percent of unsatisfied, unfulfilled, oh my God, I want to be able to do that. It's the perfect balance of the two things. Then you throw into the mix a level of stubbornness that says you don't want to quit because I just want to get this figured out. I don't want to quit. You put those things together, and here I am. And you're saying, what has made him so passionate about it? I don't use that word, or I don't think of that word. It's not sort of in my vocabulary. Ask my girlfriend, whatever. It's just stubbornness and enjoyment. It's fun and satisfying and challenging. Well, those are the things. Satisfaction from the part that's been done so far, and challenging for the part that still isn't done yet. I think I'm making progress. Yeah, I like it. It's true, without being pretentious or a jerk about it. I think I'm making progress. That's a good thing to say. Did we install a new door? No? What have we done? This is an open. Well, I think. What do you think? That's the hot mat that lives here in winter. It lives here. It's just put up on the wall there. Aoyama-san made a rack for it, so it sits there. We don't want to roll it up and unroll it and roll it up and unroll it every time. It does look like a door, I guess. That's the side of the bathroom wall. On the other side of that is the bathroom. Out of which I just took my laundry a few minutes before the stream started. The paper is strong stuff, it's strong stuff. It's not cloth-like, but it's, not sure what I can say. It's quite, whatever it takes what we're doing. We're soaking it with water here, and you'll see when I pick it up and flip it over, we're going to do this on both sides today. I'm doing the top side right now. I'll do the back side in a few minutes. It gets soaked, saturated. You can still pick it up and move it around. And when we print on this paper, it'll be soaked. It's strong stuff indeed. How do you stop the color from dispersing through the wet grain? That's what we're doing now. The process we're doing now, coating the paper with a mixture of glue and alum. This is going to give the paper physical strength to withstand the rubbing that happens down in the printing room. And also, this is the idea. Because of the alum that's in here, the colors do not disperse and flood out through the paper. They stay exactly where they're put. So that's the purpose of today's work here. To not fix the papers, to treat the paper so that it has physical strength and so that we can put colors where we want to without the colors bleeding out. It doesn't look like much at this stage. It just looks like thin little strips of tree bark. It's the inner bark. We've got this brush type plant. Cut it, strip the bark off, throw away the wood from the inside, then the bark is split. This is the inner part of the bark, which is light and white. The outer part of the bark, which was dark, is gone. It's tossed away. So it's the inner bark of the shrub that is called mulberry. this is cut in half. The paper, I cut it just before the stream started. This is the sheets as they come to me from the paper maker. I don't have a brush big enough to do it all at once, nor would I be able to have the control. So I cut it in half and do it this way. And we're gonna later cut it to get 4 Ukiyo-e Heroes prints. But there's different sizes from the paper maker. This is the largest one we can currently buy from our paper maker. He has smaller sheets. Actually, he has sheets about this size. When we're getting the Great Wave print, we get a piece of paper about this size, and we get 2 Great Wave prints out of it. So he's got different dimensions available. We are currently buying 3 different dimensions. No, the fibers are a property of the plant. There's no grinding involved here at all. Now, this isn't the place to talk about it. There's lots of videos about paper making. There was one link the other day. If you go to Reddit and look for the subreddit called Artisan Videos, somebody the other day posted a video from one of our paper makers, Sawaki-san, who is making paper for us. He has a long sort of rambly video showing his process, and it was posted to Artisan Videos the other day. So if you want to see the process of from the plant becoming paper, there's a video there that shows it. And it's the paper, some of the paper that we're using here in our workshop is in that video. Combini? Combini? This video, it's a number, I'm sorry, I don't know, whatever. It was in Reddit's Artisan Videos yesterday. It's about a 30-minute long video, I think, I don't know, from Corso Yard. Corso Yard is the name of the workshop. This paper didn't come from Corso, but some of the other paper we have here is from Corso Yard. It's not a very nicely curated video, so the comments on the Reddit were not all that positive. Anyway. Anyway, that video shows this type of paper being made, although it's not the same maker as these sheets I have here today. There's lots of people making big prints. I mean, we ourselves don't do that here. We work on a relatively small scale. But there will be people, modern printmakers will quite often make prints this large on a sheet of paper like this, but we don't ourselves. Well, my mother's here, is she, this morning? I didn't notice her. You been in the conversation? I didn't notice. I'm sorry. So, Mrs. Betbull, there, what do you think? Should I send our mascot over for a trip to Canada with the cape to get sewn up? What do you think? Or is that taking advantage of you too much? Should we send him over for a trip? Owl napped, okay. Do I know how old a cherry tree needs to be big enough to cut into wood blocks? No, I don't know. Traditionally, of course, they wanted big blocks, so you'd leave the tree alone. I know cherry trees are not planted like the Japanese cedar trees. They're not planted in plantations. The wood for the blocks is naturally harvested from trees that are growing naturally in the forest. As a matter of course, in the old days, they let it go as long as possible before cutting them down. You want big pieces of wood. So there were hunters, people that would hunt through the forests for cherry trees. I guess they'd learn where they are, watching them year by year until it's big enough to be how old would it need to be? I don't know. How old would a cherry tree be to get this big? 60 years? 70 years? I think it'd be around there. They don't live all that long. I think if you look it up, you won't see any really 100-year-old cherry trees unless that little tiny wisdom type. The major big trunk cherry trees, I think, have a lifespan about the same as a human being. And then they rot out and fall over. So the idea, I guess, would have been to get them just at the last stage of healthy life before they fall over. Okay, this is the last sheet of the top side. We'll then flip it over and start on the bottom side, back side. I think I read somewhere about that. The trees that are in Ueno Park right now, Ueno Park is one of the biggest places in Japan to see cherry trees, the Yoshino type, Somei Yoshino, the ones for ornament. And they're apparently a whole row of them right now is approaching end of life at the same time. There's a whole row of cherry trees in Ueno Park where you walk up in through the park. And they would have been planted all together, and now they're all dying at the same time. So it's a real mistake. They should have been pulling them one by one by one by one, so that you've always got a constant place. But that's not what they've done, and they're all going to be dying at the same time. Yosho! Okay, now for the back side. Questions. Cherry tree, I don't know. Cherry trees, cherry trees. What's on all the post-its? This is Aoyama-san. He works on this bench doing work, making our wood blocks. And he's been really busy the last few weeks making a bunch of new wood blocks, because as I've told you, we got a whole lot of new / old cherry. So he's got things like he's got all the wood blocks. The wood on this side is a Yahoo from 2019 March. The one on this side is somewhere else. He's got them all labeled. He's got his own notes and stuff. Glue ratios, what he's doing for this, what size, something about it. These are not my notes. These are Aoyama-san's notes. Mostly related to making the wood blocks. He's got bundles. Now we've got these pieces of cherry that have just been resawn. The log was chopped. It looks like 4 pieces. Well, it's not 4. It's 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more. These are about to become new wood blocks for us, bit by bit. Now, decision time. What to do about the mix for the back side? I think, should I reduce it or leave it the same? The last batch of paper we did, I tried an experiment. I left the front side at our normal mix, and for the back side, I reduced the strength. I put hot water in there. I asked the printers to report back to me how it turned out, ready for the next batch. And they haven't tested it yet. They've been busy with their other work, and Sugasan's been off, and they haven't tested it. So I don't know whether I can go ahead and try this again. Decisions. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut it in half. Which means what I need to do is figure out how much is in there and put half as much, again, water in there. So what we'll do is, I need a container. .500 cc's. Keep track of this for me, please. Oh, look at this. 450 cc's. So we got 1.45 liters in there. And I want to cut it by 1/3. Weaken it by 1/3. So I need 500 cc's of hot water. Good, worked out very nicely. I'll take that from here. Here we go. So we're weakening the size for the back side by 1/3. Done, that was easy. Okay, mix well. Better make a note of this, excuse me, before I forget. Okay, let's get to it. Why would the strength of the size on the backside matter? We're having trouble recently. We've been doing sizing with the same strength front and back, front and back, front and back. And I know from talking and learning and whatever about the history that it was sometimes / frequently done with different levels of strength on the front and back. In fact, the Adachi workshop here in Tokyo, even these days, does it this way. He does the front side first, dries it, then does the back side, dries it, sends it to the printer. The size on the front side, the glue in the alum is affecting two things. It's the strength of the paper. So when it's pressed onto the block, you're going to peel the paper off the block. Without size, it would just stick to the block. So the sizing is to affect the strength of the paper as it's pressed onto the block and the way that the pigments, as we mentioned earlier, disperse inside the paper. Having said that, the back side is different. The back side does not get stuck onto the block. The back side gets rubbed with the Baren tool. And if we had no glue on the back side, then the paper would tear up onto the Baren. But I think that it doesn't have to be as strong on the back side as it does on the front. So we've tried some samples recently, reducing the amount of glue that's on the back side. And the reason we're trying to do this is because I've been getting feedback from the printers that the paper is too hard. There's too much glue in there, and the pigment is not wanting to go inside. So we're experimenting with different ways to soften it up a bit for them. I should get going because it's going to dry out. I got to get going. It's not a blank. I don't know what it's going to be. This is, for those of you who don't know, yesterday's stream, we had a small, wasn't a ceremony. We retired the, look at this rack. We retired this yesterday. Somebody got smart and got on Amazon and ordered me a new cloth from my carving bench. After 30 plus years, I still don't exactly know how many years I used it. And so we've retired it. And the idea came along in the chat that it should be repurposed as a cape for Twitch. A cape or a jacket or something for Twitch. So he's currently just holding on to it, and we'll see where it goes from here. Okay, let's do the back side. Now, not only is the density of the size now different, but I've got to use less liquid in the brush. When I did the front side, the paper was dry, bone dry. But now there's water all into it, and a lot of the water has come through almost to the back side. The paper is moist now. So I can't use the same amount of liquid in the brush. It just would add too much. It would be pooling on the surface here. So I've got to knock off more at this stage. Dip it as before, knock off a bit more than I did for the first half of this. This paper gets hung up to dry 3 times, maybe, when they're making the paper itself. Obviously, it's made in water. Fibers floating in water. They rock it, press the water out of it, then hang it up to dry. And I'll spread it on boards to dry, usually in the sunshine. Then it then comes to me. I put the size on. I'll be hanging it up to dry in a few minutes. And then when it goes to the printers, they moisten it for printing. Paper's got to be moist for the printing. And after they've done their job, the paper has to be dried off again. So this paper is constantly being soaked and dried and soaked and dried. I can see Sugi-san down there. The doors are all open because it's warm, just not doesn't have to have everything closed down. I can just see her sitting there. Just quietly, quietly, quietly working. Super concentration. Trying to get every sheet the same as the last sheet. Trying to put the color on deeply. She's a happy lady, eh? Happy lady, just sitting there, super concentrated work, just quietly go, 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 go. Well, here we ask him about Susan. She's fine, she's fine. The head bump was nothing, of course. And what's this? I hear the door opening. Somebody's coming up the stairs. It's not Cameron, it's somebody. It must be Karen, the show.
It's me.
Yeah. How you doing? It's not Cameron. There's no Cameron today. Today's a Sunday. Cameron never, ever, ever, ever will be here on a Sunday. A couple of reasons. One, he does office type jobs, so it's office type hours for Cameron mostly. He doesn't do the shop and he doesn't do manufacturing. So because he's an office type job, it's office hours Monday to Friday. But also he's a strong Christian. He will never be here on a Sunday ever. This is Karen, the young lady who's been visiting from It's Karen. She was on the stream earlier. If you right back at the beginning, I think near the beginning of the stream, she was already posting. She must have been in her coffee shop or hotel room or something. She posted earlier, and now she's here. Say ho. You're in the. There's this one here, and you're now on that one over there, and then you're a little bit over here. It's usual three cameras.
Views. Good morning, guys.
You were on stream earlier, right? So.
Yeah, I just made one comment.
Focus.
Take a look at fridge here. Fridge needs sewing up.
Well, I was asking, my mother's on the stream this morning, so I put the idea out that maybe I should send Fridge over for a holiday in Canada to get a little bit of sewing and something, and she said, no, he might get lost, so don't do that. So we have to think about something to do here. Is it a cape, or is it a hat, or is it a shroud?
It does look
so, somebody said like a morning cloak or something. It's a bit too gloomy, so we have to think about something to do with it. What are we going to do with it? I don't know. And also, should we cut the edges and trim it neat and clean?
Oh, no, don't do that. Some use must be found that doesn't require cutting the edges.
Okay. Well,
My opinion on it.
I'll go with whatever the consensus is. I don't have a strong. There's lots of good mornings here for you. So. Are you making fun of me coming close to stream putting your glasses on? Are you making fun of me?
You know I'm not. You know I'm not.
It's really funny having somebody else here. She was the other day, she was downstairs. There's taking one pair of glasses off, putting another pair of glasses on to look at it, and then glasses on. It's not just me. It's the whole world, I guess. What about a nest? The blue cloth could become a nest of some kind, maybe. That's an idea. Fundoshi, I don't know if it. I don't think he's got any legs. It might be difficult for some of no legs. I think we just end up looking like a diaper. I don't know. There's somebody saying lucky enough to catch us live. There's nothing lucky about it. We're pretty regular here, you know. You don't have to be lucky to catch a live stream. You just have to be awake. Depending on your time, your location on the planet. Any tips for marketing one's art or finding an audience for it? My God, what can I say? I don't know. There's this thing called the internet. There's social media of many, many kinds. Websites, that's what we do. We ourselves don't do anything like, I mean, our growth and our social media is all organic. We don't buy ads. We don't do search engine optimization. We just make content, put it there, and the rest is... the rest takes care of itself, so I'm not sure if I can offer any advice at all. As it happens, the content that we produce seems to be of interest to some circle of people, some segment of the internet. They watch it, pass it around, comment on it, and Google takes care of the rest, so I'm not sure what I can say. Don't be afraid to communicate and show the stuff. There's a couple of other woodblock printmakers here in Japan. A friend of mine, David, lives down in Aichi Prefecture. And he was a bit hesitant about the internet. He put up small images of his prints, watermarked them, sort of a do not touch, do not use these things. He's hesitant about the public aspect to this, and as a result, nobody's ever heard of him. So I'm not sure. Just do your stuff, be enthusiastic about your stuff, and and spread it around as much as you can. We don't do marketing per se here. We just make stuff. Comments, I can't keep up with this. What's my weather here? Fridge has gone from a lowly position at Chopper's Drugs, that's the place she bought, I guess, to a place of respect at Mokahanga. Leave him be. Well, we have no plans to do anything bad with Twitch. Please, relax. Twitch with Fridge. I keep getting the two words mixed up. No, I wouldn't put a diagram. This is brainstorming. Don't worry. Brainstorming just means put different ideas on the table and see what makes sense. So don't panic. I'm not going to do anything silly here. Seems to be a bunch of new faces or new names here. And over the last few days, the YouTube algorithm has been really nice to us. The YouTube algorithms are steadily putting our videos in people's eyes. If you watch a video, the recommended stuff on the right-hand side is good for us. But the last few days specifically, the YouTube algorithm seems to have been working overtime. And the number of views on the channel over the past few days has been extremely higher than it normally is. And this happens now and then. This won't last forever. It'll go quiet next week or so. And there's something about the algorithm which seems to have maybe it's like a quota system. We get a normal amount of views and then the algorithm will pump it up for a while and then it suddenly drops off on one given hour and back to its normal level. So I don't know how of course none of us know how the algorithms work over there. But there does seem to be sort of a quota system. It'll recommend some of the videos for a while until there's been maybe 20,000 more views, and then it'll go quiet for a while. So I think it's sort of shoveling out its resources, parceling out resources here and there. I guess that's the way it is. On the right-hand side column of the videos being recommended, it maybe it's sensible for them to do that. They take one of my videos for a while, put it in there, then switch out for something else. If they didn't do it this way, you'd have always just the same stuff being recommended all the time. So it does seem to have a parceling system. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. It suits me fine. I don't want I can't expect them to promote me heavily every day of the week, to everybody. You know, of course not. But right now we're in the middle of a little boomlet, so there's new faces here. There's new emails. It's the carver story that gets recommended first. Absolutely, visiting a carver or remembering a carver, whatever it's called, I forget. And that's the starting point for most people. Well, the reason the algorithm is showing them is because these days, and I've heard this directly from a person who works for YouTube, who was here doing one of the print parties, that YouTube's focus these days, as compared with in YouTube's early days, is it's changed. YouTube mostly used to work on clicks. I think Google was the same. Inbound clicks. They counted clicks. How many people have clicked on this? That was the key for them many years ago. That's no longer something important to them. And the guy was explaining this to me. He said, clicks, we don't care about clicks. We put the video counts on there because people still want to see those numbers. But he said the algorithms and the things inside the YouTube system that try and decide what's good and what's bad, it's nothing to do with clicks anymore. It's all about AR, audience retention, how long people watch any video. It's nothing to do with how many people started watching it, how many people clicked on it. It's all about how many people stayed and how long they stayed. And if a video is getting good retention, if people are watching it a long way through or right to the end, then the algorithm says this video is worthwhile, let's recommend it and recommend some more. So it's AR now rather than raw click count. And as it happens, our videos in general are pretty good at AR. People stay and keep watching. So that's why the algorithm is treating me so well. Teaching fly fishing. I didn't realize that was a thing. Interesting. Teaching fishing. I never would have thought of those two words in the same sentence before. I guess it makes sense. Questions. Hang on a second here. If NHK came up to you It's funny you ask that because, no, don't misunderstand. NHK didn't come, nothing. But it's funny you ask that. Because I had an experience a couple of months back that made me really think about that question really intensely. The question here, if I was asked to do some kind of TV / whatever series of presentations, if I was asked to do that. And this, how much can I say about this? Okay, I can give a general thing. A couple of months back, okay, before this, you know that in the current era right now, there's lots of opportunities for the new streaming companies, all the companies that are now streaming and making original content for streaming. We know what they are. You know, the Netflixes, and now there's Apple, and lots of other companies now are creating original content. It's a huge whole list of them. And none of them have talked to me, relax. But the point being, a couple of months back, a company that is related to one of those companies that is doing a whole ton of streaming, they came and said, we want to talk to you about something, but before we can talk to you, we want an NDA. I thought, I wonder where this is going, and I'd like to listen to their things. So I signed the NDA, and in due course, a week or so later, they flew over from the country where they are based, and we went out for lunch together, sitting at a table away from other people, and they told me their proposal. But in the week or so before they came, I jumped to conclusions. I was thinking that it was the same kind of thing that somebody's mentioning here in the stream. What if there was a series of episodes about nantuka, something to do with this work? So I assumed that's what they were going to be asking me about. When I tried to answer this question to myself before they came, Dave, what if they want this? What if there's a weekly series or somebody wants you to make a whatever? What would you do? Because you're busy. Do you want to do this? So I tried to address this question in my mind. How am I going to answer these people? Can I do this? Do I have time to do this? Do I really want to do this? And it was difficult. I didn't come to any specific conclusion. I said, okay, let me see what their proposal is. And they're obviously not going to ask for an answer right there during the lunch meeting. So let's see where it goes. Anyway, it turned out to be totally not about that. The proposal they were making was something completely, totally not that. And I'm still under NDA, so I can't talk about it. The thing they were proposing to me was not just about me. It was a new business venture that they were doing, and they didn't want it to be talked about yet. And as far as I know, it hasn't been publicized yet, so that's as far as I can go on this. But I can just mention the story just to say it really was something I really had to think strongly about, and it's something that I still am thinking about, because I think that chance is going to come up. At some point, somebody in one of these companies that is doing all this content creation, yada, 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 they're going to come across that carving video or a couple of David's Choice videos, and they're going to say, I think there's a niche here. Let's take this guy and see if we can ask him to do a series for us. So I'm thinking at some point along the line that is going to happen. So it's bubbling. I'm thinking, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And basically what I'm sort of hoping for is let's just punt. Let's keep building our business here. We've got Cameron helping here. We've got enough people. Another carver is here. If our business builds up enough so that I can not have to be here every day, if we can get our business to that stage before this opportunity comes, then I'll be able to say yes. Okay, almost here. We've got about 5 or 6 sheets left, I think. And because I'm here alone today, there is no way I'm going to be able to move all this camera and gear and computer into the next room. You know, you've seen that before. Sometimes when Cameron was here, we move this setup and you watch me then hang the paper up. I can't do that. I'm on 4 power plugs. I've got 4 devices plugged in, cables everywhere. I cannot move next door here. So when I'm finished this brushing in a couple of minutes, we'll call it a day. And I will move to the next room by myself and hang the paper up. So it's time to think about what's happening here. Today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. there's a stream tomorrow, but is there an early party? Just a second. It could be that tomorrow is one of those days where there's an early party. Hang on a sec here for a heads up. Moko Hong Kong manager page, inventory management, print party management, party bookings. Monday the 8th, there is an 8:30 party tomorrow. So heads up, there will be a stream downstairs, but it will be very, very, very short. 20 minutes, whatever, maybe 30 minutes if they're late. Tomorrow's stream will be downstairs. I'll be carving on the Patreon chibi blocks. And it'll be a short stream because we have an early morning party. You had some friends visiting Asakusa yesterday. Did they come in? I don't know. I mean, how am I going to tell? There were lots and lots and lots of people here. And among the people, this happens almost pretty much every day in high season. We'll get people that come in and say, I don't really know what this is all about, but I got a friend back home that said, when you were in Tokyo, you must go and see this place. We hear that sort of almost every day. And every day, yes, I think there were a couple. What we usually do in that case is, you know, the friend in America knows about it, is watching right now, but they can't come. So when their friend is here, they tell their friend, come, go and see Dave, go and see the place, it's real cool. So when I hear the story, what we do is we sit there, we do the selfie. We take a selfie and send it back to the friend back home, who is then green with envy and whatever. And where do the people come? I know it's a real mix, of course. You know, we ask at the beginning of each party, "Hello, guys, how are you? Where did you come from? Or what country are you from, and how did you learn about us and stuff like that." And it's a real mix. There's people that have been watching YouTube videos. Maybe number one is maybe YouTube videos. People have watched YouTube videos. And number two is guidebooks, Lonely Planet, stuff like that. The next might be people who wandered in off street. I don't have an actual percentage calculation, whatever. The people that say, I'm a Twitch viewer, that's not so strong. It's nearly YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. Or they'll say, yeah, we've been watching the YouTubes and now and then the stream, something like that. I don't think this stream is a large, how many people are watching today, for example, right now? We got 100 or something, or 120? I don't know. So the Twitch stream, as fun as it is not a massive, we were talking about marketing earlier, whatever. This is not something that brings a ton of business our way. See, 96 right now. So it's the same people for the most part, again and again. Well, it's YouTube. I have to admit, it's YouTube. And word of mouth, of course, that's a big one. People do the party, they tell their friends, or they put an Insta picture up or something like that. Word of mouth is also very important. There, here's the last sheet. What time is it? 9:20. We're just about right. I'll be able to hang this up and get downstairs for the first print party. Just about right.はい、ありますか？
あります。あ、すごく大きい。これカットあります。大丈夫。
Okay, there we have it. This is going to sit here for just a couple of minutes. I'm not going to let this sit for too long. This is another reason we thought we were having trouble with the paper. If I let it sit too long here, then when I hang it up, it peels off with a noisy peeling. And that, I think, leaves texture on the front. So I want to peel this off and hang it before it starts to stick together. So I am out of here. Thank you very much, guys. Lots of conversation. I missed perhaps lots of what's going on. My mascot here. So as I said, I'll be downstairs tomorrow for the stream there. A short stream on Monday. Then Tuesday we'll be off. It'll be off for a stream, but we're in big tourist season, so I will be in the shop all day. But there'll be no print parties. So I'll be doing whatever I can do in the midst of all the crowds coming in. Maybe a bit of carving, a bit of paperwork, who knows, whatever's going on. Okay, thanks again. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, let's do this camera. Camera's off. Height. Next camera off. Leaving just our mascot. Let's have a zoom in. See what he's looking like. For those of you who don't know the background, this is our mascot, Fridge, sent to me a year or so ago by my mother from Vancouver. Looking a bit, whatever. See you tomorrow, gang. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.